Hey, what's happening, folks? Textboy91 here, and I'm finally bringing you guys my MUT 15 wish list videos, and I apologize. It has been a minute. I made a video a while back saying I was going to release a MUT 15 wish list, and I have yet to get to it until right now. And the reason it took a while for me to get to this was mostly because I really got involved in creating my theme teams, which took a lot of my time. As you guys probably know, those videos aren't really the easiest ones to make because you got to go ahead and buy the players, play solo challenges, do some collections, get players for a nice cheap price, find people who let you borrow players, and it takes up a lot of your time. Also, I did not want to release any MUT 15 wishlist videos unless I got some MUT 15 news, because I did not want to say I want this in the game and all of a sudden news comes out and it basically contrasted or conflicted with the idea that I had. So I pretty much wanted to wait until we got any MUT 15 news, but it looks like we're not getting any MUT 15 news for a while. And as soon as I say this, watch as this video gets uploaded, there's going to be a MUT 15 news or photo or on Twitter somewhere about the new card designs or the new collections or new soul challenge, something like that. But that's not out right now, and I think right now is the ideal time to go ahead and get to my MUT 15 wish list. As it is right now, it's July, mid-July, 21st, 22nd, and pretty much I think this is the perfect time to go ahead and get to my MUT 15 wish list. Now, I plan on this being a pretty long series. I think I have about 10 ideas from my MUT 15 wish list. I've been creating these since May 30th. Man, that is such a long time. I just pulled up my notes on my phone, and wow, May 30th, that's when I decided I'm going to create this list, and here it is, mid-July, and I still have yet to put a video out. So this is my first one, and at the top of this list, I'm talking about collections, and I think collections might be the most important thing in MUT 15. Now, personally, I do believe collections are the most important thing when it comes to MUT. That is why it is number one on my list. If they created MUT 15 without any collections, there would be no point in playing that game at all. I would not play that game. Collections is one of the main reasons why I started playing MUT in the first place. I wasn't much of a pack opener, and I wasn't much of a game player because I had slow internet, but I love completing collections, and that's pretty much my thing. And this year, at least recently, they just been very, very horrible. Now, I wanted to trace it back to when they removed the weekly collection from the game, but I don't think that was it. I think collection just been horrible since day one. And day one, I didn't mind the collections. They were kind of lazy, and it was kind of really evident when they released the game without having any jersey collections, let me rephrase that, any bronze jersey collections, any bronze playbook collections. Like, that was one of the first things they released in the game from day one, and they didn't even do that. And that probably should have tipped us off that the collection this year were going to be horrible, because they pretty much went a different direction than last year. If you guys played MUT 13 or played MUT 12 even, the collections had players in them, and you got a card after that, kind of like the weekly collections, or kind of like the position collections. But this year, with them bringing in a whole new collectible aspect into the game with collectible collections, it pretty much destroyed the player market. You were pulling packs to pull collectibles now instead of pulling players, and the collectibles are so hard to pull. You're pulling a bunch of useless 73 overall gold cards which have no purpose in the game whatsoever, and because it's not in a collection, you pretty much got to put them in your reserves and wait for a collection to come out with that guy's card, or maybe wait for that card's price to rise up for some reason. It just didn't make sense, and because they decided to ruin the collection market with collectibles, it made the game less fun, in my opinion. Now, I did not mind the legendary collectible collections. I did not mind those whatsoever. Those are pretty cool. But the fantasy ones, that was just taking it too far. I don't know what their purpose was of doing so. It didn't make any sense. Fantasy cards in this game had no value intrinsically whatsoever. They're pretty much useless cards unless they are 90 plus, and because they had no value, they're not in any collection until late in the game, or late in the year I should say. Their price was like cheap. You can buy like a 90 overall card that really wasn't that great for like 1,000 coins because they weren't in any collection. Now, I know for a fact, this is just me guessing, but I'm gasbagging here still, but I know that if they would have released the fantasy cards in collection for that Calvin Johnson or for that Josh Gordon, or for any fantasy card that was ranked pretty high, the price would have been the same. But because they did collectibles, all fantasy cards prices were cheap, and that sucked. And then late in the year, when they started moving the weekly collection with the players, which gave you a reward pack, which potentially could have gave you a 99 overall Man 25 card, they pretty much ruined the market for cards having any value. And it just sucks. I don't like how they destroyed the value of cards to make the collectibles the end all be all. Now, to be fair and reasonable, they did add player collection to the game. They did add the team cabin collection, which is pretty cool. It had a collectible in it, but I did not mind that at all. That's probably what I want to lean towards going in the future, where they want you to collect players along with the collectible. Now, the collectible still might trump all the players, make their players really, really irrelevant to buy, but then again, you never know. So I did like that strategy. They did add the team MVP collections, which had no collectibles, just players, which I was cool with, other than the ones that were in the playoffs, which, by the way, I did not like those, and mostly because it had a bunch of base cards that they removed, they brought back into the game, which I didn't think was cool. They brought a whole new level of cards, which are playoff cards, which are pretty much the same thing as the road to the playoff cards, into the game, so you had to pull more packs to get those cards. But then again, there were some of the rarest gold cards that were in the collections that you could having your reserves and sell them. So that wasn't as bad as it could have been, but that collection was ridiculous, on top of forcing users to play solo challenges to get the damn collectible. Man, that was stupid. I hated that. That was stupid. I hated that with a passion right there. That didn't make no sense to me. But putting those collections to the game gave the user a choice now. Since there are players in them, they can pull packs, have a better probability of pulling that specific gold player that goes for some coins, or maybe go to their reserves and search for that gold player that goes for 50K on the auction block, and they're good. They don't got to put any more money into the game unless they really wanted to. They could pretty much go to their reserves and find that card that they have and sell it. But because they want to keep adding new stuff into the game, and I'm going to say the playoff cards, the order of the playoff cards, are pretty much glorified collectibles, because they didn't really do anything with those either. Because they keep releasing new stuff in the game that basically force you to buy packs to get them, or camp the auction block and maybe get a sniper one, maybe you overspend on one. It doesn't allow the consumer the best bet to make coins, and this is since day one. They obviously didn't want us to have any coins. Now, I'll talk about tax later on, but it's not really fair that they tax you on top of you putting money into the game. I don't think that's fair. You pay a $20 cover and you still get taxed. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I just do not understand whose idea it was to release these horrible collections. Now, I probably have a guy in my comment section below saying the collections weren't horrible, the cards had value. Yeah, they did have value. The cards had value when they dropped the first team cabin collections with the base and the new road to the playoff cards. Those cards did have value, and that's because they were out of packs and that price went up. But when they did the team cabin collection and the position collection, the cards that were in them were always in packs, and people were pulling packs every day to pull the limited edition Football Outsiders, pull the new legends, ultimate legends, stuff like that. So the prices are going to be down, because those can be the most common cards. You guys can open up 100K worth of pro packs and pull all gold cards, and that's the reason why gold cards are useless, because they're not really in collections, and the collection they are in, everybody has that same damn card, so the price of them is like 500 coins and they quicks over 250, so there's no value in that. Plus, after tax, you're not getting much coin back for selling that guy's card, so you end up putting your reserves and sitting there for a while. And because they gave the illusion they were increasing the value of gold cards by removing the base gold cards from packs when they dropped the team cabin collection along with the new World of Playoff content, people thought that the collection was so much better, but in actuality they were still the same old horrible collections. It all bounced out as soon as, I think, around Christmas. We got open packs every single day, and the only collection in the game was the collectible collections for the puzzle piece, not for the puzzle piece, for the ghost cards, which weren't bad. That was actually a pretty solid promo after the first 2 days. After that, it was pretty horrible, but it still showcased how bad the collections were, because they wanted you to go ahead and buy packs for collectibles instead of rewarding the guys that already bought packs, let's say December 15th, with player collections. And at that time, I do think they still had weekly collections, and I really think they need to bring those back, because that was one of the main reasons why collections when the game first came out, or at least cards when they first came out, had value. And because they were moved out of the game, they pretty much destroyed the value of some of the cards. I remember when the game first came out, I sold Larry Foote, 69 overall gold medal linebacker Larry Foote, for 15,000 coins. I had 3 of my reserves. I made a nice profit because he was in a collection that rewarded a reward pack, which potentially could have got you a nice 97 overall rated card or a horrible card that had no value to it. But people still took that risk because they wanted to complete the collection. And since they were moved out of the game, in one fell swoop, they made gold cards irrelevant, and the only card that mattered were the new content that they were dropping, which to get you had to collect collectibles to get. And I just don't like that premise whatsoever. I want you to buy packs. I want you to put money into the game. I want you to get the best team possible. But instead of rewarding you for being a loyal pack opener, I'm going to force you to buy more packs to pull a collectible that you have a 1 in 100 chance of pulling to complete a collection that really should require players, because it'll be a lot easier on the consumer. But hey, I still played the game. I just didn't do much collections this year as I would have liked to. And talking about more collections, I really hated the way they released the positional collections, man. They just, like, I'm telling you guys, they were lazy this year. I think that they knew this game was going to be as good as MUT 13 was, and they're banking on MUT 15 being amazing. And the fact, or the way they just released all the position collections at once, and that should give you a good example as well how gold cards have no value whatsoever. There were some of those position collections that have some value to them, but when they dropped all the position collections at once, you know what cards were rare? Only the elite cards, because the elite cards were harder to pull than collectibles. Those elite cards were super rare, and all the gold cards in those collections had no value. But it's kind of crazy though. Like, I really don't understand the whole concept of releasing all those at once, and that pretty much killed the market as well, because you pretty much won't go complete any collection. You can have all the gold cards in the world, but if you didn't have that 97 Trent Palomalu zone defense, you're not going to be able to clear that collection for a nice chunk of change. So I think next year they need to focus more on player collections instead of focusing more on collectible collections, and also focus more on gold, silver, and bronze player collections. Put all of them probably in one. Like, I remember last year in MUT, they had a team MVP collection for pretty much all the teams. I think they released them every single week. You had the Giants, you had the Eagles, you had the Panthers, you had the Falcons, teams like that with gold players in them, and it gave you a gold player with a boost. That would have been nice this year. Imagine if they dropped a gold Eagles collection. You had to collect, I don't know how they would do it though, because I'm trying to think how many Eagles are gold card in this game, because gold cards are really weird. Let's just say they had an Eagles collection. You had to collect bronze Eagles. You had to collect 15 bronze Eagles along with 15 gold Eagles and 15 silver Eagles, like combination of the 15, and you had to collect all of them to get, let's say, a 95 Deshaun Jackson or 90 or 97 LaShawn McCoy. Like, you had to collect those. Those cards would have value in the game all of a sudden, and you'll be able to sell those for a nice chunk of change. But because they neglected, they purposely, I don't think they even thought of this. They purposely said, bleep it, I'm not going to release those into the game. You guys can go ahead and just eat what we give you right now and play the game you want, and hopefully in MUT 15 we give you guys a better product, because this year we don't care. And they gave you so many hints that they don't care this year, and I don't feel bad saying that. They gave you a lot of inclination that they don't care about you whatsoever with this year's game. Also, just thought of this, they could have dropped college collections. Now imagine this, they have a South Carolina collection, they have a Miami collection, they have a USC collection, and you can go ahead and complete those collections with players that played at that particular school, and go ahead and collect their elite gold, silver, bronze, whatever card in the game is, and go ahead and get rewarded a nice player and some coins. They had that in MUT 13. I'm pretty sure they had those college collections in MUT 12, and this year in MUT they did not drop those. Now, they could have been very, very busy. I just like to chalk up the laziness. I'm all about making explanations, and I don't mind excuses, but there's no excuse for them not to have dropped those collections. Those could have added more value to gold cards in the game, but instead they focused more on collectibles. Now, I like to think of myself as a pretty fair and reasonable guy. I don't really go off the handle too much. I'm pretty rational when it comes to my approach. But this one right here is the most damning evidence of EA being pretty lazy. I can't really say EA Sports being lazy, besides using TweetDeck, which I think is just the most lazy thing in the world. But I'm throwing so much shade right now. Why did I have to wait? I'm still waiting. Why am I still waiting, actually? Why am I still waiting for a Panthers black on black uniform and a Panthers blue top black pants? Why? It doesn't make any sense that they did not drop any collections for jerseys throughout the entire year. There were so many throwback jerseys being used this year in NFL, and Madden failed to drop those. We didn't even get the Pro Bowl jerseys. Like, they did not care. They pretty much were focused on doing one thing only, which was collectibles. And now I'm over here advocating for a more collectible collection with the jersey ones, but I think people would have enjoyed those, and it would have gave more value to the gold collectibles being on the auction block. Those still have value around 5,000, 6,000 coins because they're so hard to pull, but I think the value would up even higher if they basically allowed or released more collections to the game, such as the Panthers blue top or the Panthers black on black. And I'm saying Panthers, I'm a Panther fan, so don't hate me. Last thing I hate about collections are they're not really rewarding enough for me to complete. You do collections, if you don't do them early enough, you're pretty much doing them to break even. If you guys do a lot of collections, you guys just got MUT 3 weeks ago and you got like 200,000 coins, and you see on the MUT 25 app by TJ, you guys should go ahead and download that. But you see on the MUT 25 app that this collection will cost you 200,000 coins, and you see how much your card's selling for. The collections aren't really worth doing. First of all, they take so much bleeping time. I spend more time sorting back and forth. Like, why do they have this yet where you put a card in a collection, right? You put a card in a collection and it stays on that damn card. Why do I have to keep scrolling all the way back and forth? That is tedious, and sometimes the game freeze, which pretty much frustrates me to no end. Also, upon completion, you gotta play a solo challenge on most of them to get the cards you want. And that Deion Sanders solo challenge for the Deion Sanders 98, that is some bull bleep, man. Like, you're playing so many games for a 90 overall card, and I have still yet to do that collection. I have all the cards collected, but I'm not about to spend my entire day playing all those solo challenges for the 98 Deion Sanders, which is like 50,000 coins. No way, no how. And let's get back to this point with them not being worth completing at all. Now, I got distracted because I got talking about the whole collecting the cards. That stuff's stupid. Like, like I can't think of a better word to describe that, but that is the most dumbest thing of all time. But they're not worth completing unless you complete them early. Now, I don't want to keep comparing Madden 25 to Madden 13, but in Madden 13 there was a point where you can go back and still complete a collection and still make a nice profit off of it based off the coin reward. This year that is not the case, obviously. If you guys want to do any of the collections, like I said, log on to MUT 25 app, see how much they cost, and then go to the auction block and see how much the card costs. It's just not worth doing. So why would you spend all your time completing that collection for nothing? And then some of the collections they got in the game are just stupid. Who in their right mind has completed that GMC collection with that 96 JJ Watt? Like, that collection is so stupid for 10,000 coins. Man, they're just not worth doing this year, and that kind of sucks. Last year, like I said, you can log on if you got the game in September, haven't played since September, logging on in middle of May, you can go ahead and complete the Halloween collection for a nice chunk of change. You can complete the team MVP collection for a chunk of change. You can complete the Super Bowl collection for a nice chunk of change. What this year is, nope, if you don't complete them right away, they're not worth doing. I did the elite free safety position collection right away, made a nice killing. If I do that collection right now, I'll pretty much lose coin because of the tax, and that just kills my vibe every single time. Now, I pretty much just gasped back for such a long time about why the collection this year's Madden suck, and hopefully in MUT 15 they are better. And it really wasn't a wishlist video just yet. It's pretty much just me ranting about why the collection suck. But hopefully in MUT 15, all they really need to do, which is really funny, I gave you all that long soliloquy, scatterbrain nonsense that was pretty much me just talking just randomly about why the collection suck, and I'm gonna give you guys like a 2-minute summary of what they can do in MUT 15 and make it a lot better. Hey, it's my video, it's my style, deal with it. Now, to fix collections in MUT 15, this is the easiest fix they can do. It's really easy. It's really easy. A caveman can do it. All they bleeping need to do is release bleeping collections for cards that are already in packs. That's not that damn hard. I don't understand why they make this game a lot harder than it has to be. Obviously, they want to make money, but releasing collections with cards that are already in packs or cards already in our reserves will make it a ton easier. I hate having to pull packs for collectibles. Now, personally, I said earlier, I do not mind the legendary collectibles. Those are fine. Those can stay in the game all they want to. I'm cool with those. I hate the fantasy collectibles. Now, to get rid of those, they just need to add the fantasy cards to the collection for the DirecTV Star of the Week card. That would be the best thing to do ever. I don't understand why they thought it was going to be a good idea to give us collectibles that are virtually impossible to pull, and at the same time give us cards that have no value whatsoever until they drop position collections, which would have been like 8 months from now. Here is another thing they can do on MUT 15 to make it a lot better. How about this? Release more collections. Collections cannot hurt, they can only help. Now, people may be mad about all the content being released because let's just say they may not be able to complete that collection because you keep putting more in the game, which drives more prices of cards up. That is a good thing, you know why? Because it encourages pack openings, and pack openings encourage people selling cards. I have put so many cards in my reserves. I have quick sold so many cards because this year in MUT, they have no value. I was so adamant in MUT 13 about never quick selling any card because let's say you spend 9,000 coins for a pack in MUT 13, 9K for a pack, right? And you pull like a bunch of gold cards and nothing else out of that pack. You could potentially get back, let's say, 5,000 coins if you sold everything for what their value was. In this year's MUT, you can't even do that because there's not enough collections with the cards have any value to them, and because they don't release it on a more frequent basis, they're intrinsically worthless. And that is how you fix MUT 15 collections. It's very, very easy. Like I said, a caveman can do it. Just release more collections and release collections that require players that are already in the game, and everything will be a-okay. Now, some may be mentioning, why not make more collections rewarding? I don't think they really need to. I honestly think that if they just were released more collections to the game, the cards that you have in your reserves might sell for a nice chunk of change. So if the collection sucks, just sell the card. I think that'll basically be the best way to go about it. And I hope next year in MUT 15, they do these simple steps because it'll make the game a lot more fun. I just want the game I played in MUT 13 where I can be on for an entire day completing collections and selling cards and opening packs like that. That'd be a very, very fun game to play. But with this game, you really can't even do that. You pretty much get on for like 5 minutes and say, yeah, I can't do nothing. Here on MUT 25, they pretty much treated this game as a once a week game, and they gave you no reason to play it more than once a week. So hopefully in MUT 15, that changes. More collections, more matchup collections, more college collections, more team collections, more collections. That's all I want. More collections. I want more collections, and I want more collections, and I will be very, very happy. And you guys will too, because you never know. You might have that rare bronze card that goes for 15,000 coins that goes in the collection. And if you do, it'll make your MUT experience that much better instead of playing MUT this year and having a horrible experience unless you're pulling the amazing stuff, which I know a majority of us were not. But anyway, folks, that's gonna wrap up this first wish list video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you guys are new around here, hit that subscribe button. I try to upload MUT on the daily, and hopefully in MUT 15, you guys stick around. Watch me open up packs, watch me do gameplays, watch me talk about anything random when that game gets released. So that's the video. I'm the Texas boy, and I'm out of this mother bleeper. But part 1, more collections in this mother bleeper. Peace.